So, what dish is your group going to be making today?
So Rikke, Milo and I, we're going to make a French onion soup with for dessert.
And where's this dish from?
Well, obviously France. I believe it originated back in 1700 sometime, middle 1700. And researchers can't really determine how, where it really became a dish. So I can't really give you a proper answer to where and when, other than France in the 1700s. Yeah.
So, what does this dish have to do with the Commonwealth?
Well, it's a quite the dish is quite popular around the world, especially in Europe. It's really somewhat easy to do. It really only contains of onion and garlic and plenty of other stuff to complete the dish. But yeah, mainly just onion, which is easy to find, or at least buy worldwide.
So, how are you going to be making it today?
Well, we started chopping the onions and minced the garlic as well. Then put it into a pot and stirred it with some butter. Yeah, and that's how far we've come until now. Rikke and Milo will continue cooking up the dish while we speak. So I'm very excited to go back there and see how far they've come.
Great, well,
Yeah.
good luck.
Of course, thank you.
So, what dish are you group going to be making?
We're gonna be making Cypriot gyros. So those wraps that you typically see in like the kebab stores when you're out after a night of drinking or something like that. Yeah.
And so you said it's from Cyprus?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's the history behind this dish?
I believe it was brought over. It was kind of a typical Turkish dish, I believe. But this type that we were making is souvlaki and it's made with pork. So it was adopted by the Greeks to exclude the Turkish, I guess, as far as I remember. Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit about how you're going to be making it?
So we actually started this process yesterday. We had to marinate the meat for 12 hours. It's probably been marinated for about 24 hours, but we had to cut up some pork neck to make really thin fillets, and then we beat them and marinate them with lots of spices and oil and with some onion as well, and we let it sit for 12 hours plus. And then when we came here today, we put some skewers and some potatoes for stability to make a tower of meat, and we just stacked it on top of each other. And now it's currently in the oven with some tin foil to be cooked for 3 hours, and then we will take it off after those 3 hours and cook it for another 30 minutes, 45 minutes ish. And then we're also making some tzatziki. That just has to sit in the fridge for most of the time. Just some Greek yogurt and some spices and some cucumber and French fries, which we're currently making as well. That has to be baked in the oven for an hour, and then they have to be cut into wedges and then fried in oil. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What dish is your group going to be making?
We're going to be making something called chow fun. It's a Cantonese dish from Hong Kong. Yeah, that's what we're going to be making.
So, what's the history behind this dish?
Well, it's a staple dish in China. That's what we know. It's made of noodles and beef and vegetables. There's actually a really fun story that goes along with it. It was about a chef called Mr. Hui. He moved out of his region called Canton, but then was forced back because of World War II. One night, his stall was visited by a Japanese officer who wanted to eat this chow hun at the time, but he didn't have any powder, potato starch to make the sauce. So the Japanese commander got so angry that he was about to shoot his family. Mr. Hui decided that, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do the best with what I have. And then he made it dry without the sauce. The Japanese commander liked it so much that he just spared his family. Ever since then, this dish has been a staple in Hong Kong.
So, how are you going to be making the dish?
We are going to be marinating the meat first. The meat is already marinating right now. We use basic cornstarch and baking powder, some sesame oil and stuff like that. We just leave it to marinate, and once that's done, we're going to chop the vegetables, fry the meat first, that's very important, and then throw in the noodles and the spices.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Under.
Hello, Silver.
What dish is your group going to be making today?
Okay, so we'll be making chicken tikka masala, which is a great example of a classic fusion cuisine dish, which mixes Indian and British cooking in a perfect harmony.
So, where exactly is it from?
It's debated where the exact origins are, but some say that it's originated from a certain Indian restaurant in Scotland, but others say that it could be invented in any Indian restaurant in Britain.
So, the history behind the dish? Any specific history there?
Yeah, so of course there's a long history of colonialism, essentially. The Britons went to the world and they brought it back with them. And then along went many wares, but also people. And these people settled in Britain from the Indian subcontinent and of course also from all over the rest of the world. But in relation to this dish, the Indians came and they invented this dish in the latter half of the previous century.
So, how are you going to be making it today?
Okay, so we will be marinating our chicken, making it a tandoori style chicken, even though we don't have a tandoor oven, but we'll be at least cooking the chicken in the oven with Indian spices and garlic and ginger paste. And then we'll be, alongside that, we'll be making a so-called masala, which is basically just an Indian sauce. And then we'll shred the chicken and put it into the sauce. And we'll serve this stew, curry, over rice.
Great, thank you.
Yeah?
What dish is your group going to be making today?
We're making 3 different things. We're making bisap, which is a drink, which is made by hibiscus, sugar, water, and some mint. We made it very strong, so it can be watered down a little bit because there's so many people. We have to make it a little strong to water down. Then we're making jollof rice, which is a tomatoey rice with vegetables, and then we also put chicken in. You can do that. It's kind of like dal. Every family has its own recipe, so it's kind of loosey-goosey. And that's currently simmering down now. And then we're making these little puffy dough balls, because pretty much every country in the world has like their version of fried dough. And here from West Africa, there's a bunch of different names for it, and they're all very long, but one of them was like Dido or Kiku or something like that. So yeah, that's what we're making.
Great. So, where's this from?
Bisap is, well, all of it is from West Africa. You know, all the West African countries, they were divided by Europeans. So if you go by tribe, it's a lot more. But yeah, bisap is the national drink of Senegal, but it is also drunk a lot in Jamaica and the rest of West Africa. Then jollof rice is mainly Ghanaian, but again, like it goes beyond borders. And then the puffballs are actually Nigerian, the little dough balls.
So, is there a history behind these dishes?
Yes.
Any specific one?
Yeah. Well, jollof rice was originally not made with rice because rice comes from Asia. It was really originally made with like local ingredients, and that was something that's a little similar to beans, I of course forgot the word, obviously. But bisap with the hibiscus, that's also not necessarily native to all parts of Africa, so that also came in. So all of these dishes are made after the New World, or at least the versions we know now are all post-New World, like post-Columbus, and have evolved continuously and are still doing that. But yeah, they're very popular, especially jollof rice, which is usually, or very often, vegetarian. It's eaten a lot, and it's a very common dish.
Great, thank you.
So, what are you doing at the minute, sir?
I'm preparing my schnitzels
All right, how are you doing that?
by beating them as flat as possible.
All right,
So they have the signature wide flat style.
what is your target thickness?
Probably less than 5 millimeters.
All right. So, what is your next step?
To cover these in flour,
Yeah.
in the egg, and then in the breadcrumbs, and then I'm gonna deep fry them in oil. But haven't prepared the pan yet. So currently I'm just flattening them and then making them ready, and then later on I'm gonna be doing the rest.
All right, awesome. Have at it.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I keep it. Hello.
I am your father.